Okay, let's unpack this. You know how there's always that electric buzz around football transfers?
Oh, yeah?
Certain players just ignite conversations, send analysts into overdrive, and sometimes, like, right at the start, a detail jumps out. Maybe a comparison, like hearing a player constantly compared to, say, Xabi Alonso.
Absolutely. And when that same player is apparently wanted by, Liverpool, City, Real Madrid, Barcelona, before maybe closing in on a deal with Arsenal, well, that definitely makes you sit up and take notice. Tells you something's there, according to the noise anyway.
Exactly. So today's deep dive is all about that Martin Zubimendi and the intense speculation linking him with Arsenal.
Right, and we're diving into a specific piece here. It's an article from Sky Sports. The title is Martin Zubimendi to Arsenal. Spain midfielder's quality and character make him one of world's best no-sixes. Pretty bold claim.
It is, and our mission here is really to pull apart this source. We want to understand why it argues he's elite, what it says makes him special on and off the pitch, drawing on opinions from people quoted in the article, coaches, teammates.
Yeah, and what this potential move could mean for Arsenal, all based on the analysis in this article. This is really geared towards you, the listener, so you can quickly grab the essential arguments and insights presented here.
This piece lays out a really strong case, I think. It looks at his playing style, but also heavily at his personality, using quotes from people who apparently know him well. So we'll explore what the source suggests makes a top no six, get into those glowing endorsement, and look at the forecast for his potential impact.
So, stepping into the article's world, who is Martin Zubimendi, based on this source?
Okay, so it tells us he's 26, from San Sebastian, boyhood club Real Sociedad.
Yeah, and not just came through the ranks, but made over 200 senior appearances. Big deal.
Huge. And helped them win silverware, the Copa del Rey, and get back into the Champions League.
Plus, part of Spain's European Championship winning squad last year, that adds to the pedigree the source is building up.
Definitely. And like we mentioned up front, that list of interested clubs, Liverpool, Man City, Real, Barca, before Arsenal reportedly got close to this 51 million deal.
Yeah, that figure, 51 million pounds, and that list of clubs, it really underlines the source's main point. They believe he's genuinely top tier, one of the world's best, as the headline says.
So let's dig into why the article makes that claim. What are the core attributes it highlights? What makes him supposedly stand out?
Well, the analysis points to a mix of things. Intelligence, definitely.
Yeah.
Outstanding technique. And a sort of deceptive physicality. Maybe not what you'd first expect.
How so?
It says he excels both in possession, controlling the tempo like a metronome, and out of possession, acting as that vital screen for the defense. Does both sides.
The breakdown of his actual play is pretty detailed. It talks about him being good with the ball, controlling the game, his passing, short, long,
Right, and breaking lines too, not just with passes, but actually driving forward himself. Apparently gets shots off sometimes, covers a lot of ground.
And defensively.
Big emphasis on cutting out passes. Ground and air. The article highlights his bravery too, and his forward-thinking passing.
There's a quote from a former teammate, Benoit Cashno.
Yeah, Cashnot says Zubimendi always wanted the ball, was never afraid to play it, which, for a deep midfielder, that's crucial, especially in a team that wants possession.
But what's really interesting, I think, is how much weight the article gives to his character. It's almost equal billing with the technical stuff.
Absolutely. A former coach, Ador Zulaika, gives this really interesting quote. He calls Zubimendi a complete person as well as being a complete player.
Complete person. What does that mean in this context?
Zulaika highlights this combination he sees as rare. Very humble, very simple, but also very proud with a really strong personality. That blend.
That is an interesting mix, humble but strong.
And Cashnot backs up the humble side.
Yeah.
Says he was always smiling, friendly. Tells this story. About when Cashnot had knee surgery, Zubimendi was apparently one of the only teammates who visited him in hospital. Little things like that paint a picture, don't they?
Definitely speaks volumes. And others chime in on character, too.
Yeah. Carlos Martinez, a former teammate, and Roberto Montiel, a youth coach. They describe him as, super disciplined, serious about work, smart, listen to coaches, polite, respectful.
Martinez felt he showed personality, something different, even young.
And Montiel mentioned he was maybe a bit shy earlier on, but grew in confidence in the academy. Zulaika adds that even when he was young, playing with older guys in the B team, he wasn't fazed. Just let his football do the talking.
So this strong character element is clearly central to the source's argument about him being elite.
Seems like it. And building on that, the comparisons the article makes are really telling, especially the one that keeps coming up, Xabi Alonso.
Right. That wasn't just a one-off mention. Multiple people bring it up.
Yeah, Roberto Montiel, who coached both Alonso and Arteta at Antiguoco, the youth club Zubimendi, also he apparently said Zubimendi was like Xabi Alonso in the way he saw football.
Wow. Similar traits as players.
Great passer, good decisions, wins the ball, protects it. All things Montiel saw in both. Interestingly, he also said Zubimendi, like Alonso, was maybe more introverted, whereas Arteta was all in, was the phrase used.
And didn't Alonso actually coach Zubimendi for a bit?
He did, in Real Sociedad's B team. And Carlos Martinez straight up says Zubimendi reminds him a lot of Alonso, and crucially points out Alonso's success in the Premier League, sort of hinting.
Hinting it's a good sign for Zubimendi potentially adapting.
Exactly. That seems to be the implication.
The article also compares him with Arteta, given the shared background, San Sebastian, Real Sociedad, Antiguoco.
Yeah, but Montiel makes a distinction there. Says Arteta was kind of marked for stardom much earlier. Zubimendi apparently didn't stand out quite as much initially, wasn't even signed by Sociedad till he was 14 after some earlier trials didn't work out.
So Montiel's view is Zubimendi is more Alonso than Arteta.
As a player, and maybe personality-wise too, yeah. That's a perspective presented.
Beyond comparisons, there are some pretty strong endorsements quoted.
Oh, definitely. Zuleika just flat out says he could play for any team in the world, and I can't see many better players in his position. That's quite a statement.
No kidding. And Martinez,
equally direct, says he is ready, praises his tactical understanding, ability to cover positions. These aren't like casual compliments. They're strong votes of confidence.
Okay, so pulling all this together, the analysis, the character focus, the endorsements, let's look at the specific argument the article makes for Arsenal. Why them? What's the fit, according to the source?
Well, the article argues pretty strongly that Arsenal need a player with his specific profile, that non-tips role. They even bring in Gary Neville's point about Arsenal needing someone comfortable taking the ball on the back foot under pressure.
Right, that deeper-lying playmaker role.
Exactly. And it positions him, even though he's 7 years younger, as someone who could potentially fill the experience and leadership gap if Jorginho leaves, which seemed likely at the time the article was written, suggests he has that maturity.
And his playing style, how does that fit?
His forward-thinking approach to brave passing, driving forward, is highlighted as something Arsenal could use, especially against those teams that sit deep, pack the defense, an area the article suggests Arsenal maybe struggled with sometimes last season.
Does it use stats to back this up?
It does. It points out he apparently has a higher percentage of forward passes, 31.39%, compared to Partey, Jorginho, Rice at the time.
Okay, so more direct.
Yeah, the source explains this shows a willingness to take risks, move the ball forward, which is why his overall completion rate, 84.42%, is slightly lower, but that risk is seen as positive, a way to break lines.
And he ranks well for progressive passes overall.
Among the top in La Liga, only a few players ahead of him, apparently from the very top clubs. Montiel also adds his view here, saying even with Rice, Odegaard, Arsenal lack that specific profile Zubimendi offers for playing out quickly from the back, 1 or 2 touches.
And then there's the Arteta connection, of course.
Right. The shared background, San Sebastian, Sociedad, Antiguoco. The article suggests that cultural and footballing link could help him settle in, enhance the fit. It's seen as a potential plus.
So taking all that info from the article, the playing style analysis, the character insights, the endorsements, the Arsenal fit, how does the source forecast his potential move to the Premier League? What's the outlook?
The forecast seems pretty positive, built on this idea that his mix of skills, and crucially his character, will help him adapt. The tactical intelligence, the bravery on the ball.
And that personality they highlighted. Humble but strong.
Exactly. That's presented as key for handling the pressure. And that Alonso comparison keeps cropping up. As supporting evidence Alonso thrived in the Premier League, the thinking goes, so maybe Zubimendi, with a similar profile according to the source, can too. Martinez saying he is ready really hammers home that positive forecast.
But there's sort of an implicit debate or question raised by the source's own analysis, isn't there? Like, you praise the risky forward passes, but that slightly lower completion rate, could that be an issue against intense Premier League pressing? More turnovers, maybe.
That's the flip side, potentially. The risk versus reward.
And the character thing, highly praised, yes. But can that specific blend, humble and strong, truly handle the relentless pressure, the scrutiny, the sheer physicality of playing for a top Premier League club like Arsenal week after week?
Yeah, the source makes a strong case for yes, based on his profile and the opinions gathered. But those are always the unknowns, right? Until a player actually does it, you can only forecast based on the available evidence. The article presents its evidence strongly. but adaptation is always the final test.
Okay, so just to quickly recap the main takeaways from our deep dive into this Sky Sports piece, it paints Zubimendi as more than just technically skilled. It emphasizes exceptional tactical intelligence and this highly rated, interesting mix of humility and strong personality.
Absolutely. The article leans heavily on strong endorsements from coaches and teammates, makes that really compelling comparison to Xabi Alonso, and argues his specific skill set, brave forward passing, playing under pressure, could directly address key needs for Arsenal, particularly in breaking down defenses and building from deep.
And just to reiterate, this deep dive has been focused purely on unpacking this specific source's perspective and analysis on Zubimendi and this potential transfer.
Hopefully this has given you, the listener, a really clear picture of why he's such a talking point and what this particular article identifies as his most important qualities and potential impact.
So, thinking about everything we've pulled from the article, especially that emphasis on his character, that rare blend of humility and strong personality, alongside his tactical smarts, could that character element actually be just as critical, maybe even more so, than the on-field skills when it comes to adapting to the Premier League pressure cooker at a club like Arsenal? What do you think?